Well, good evening. Once again, Tuesday night, only one place, of course, to be, and that is Super League Raw Weekly. Good evening, one and all. And as you can see, it's the three of us tonight. We've got Steph Sale back, or he'll be back on in a moment. And a very happy birthday to one of my oldest friends, Sir Gregory Nixon, turned
Good evening.
today. Good
How
evening,
old?
sir.
Don't give the age away, mate. Don't give the age away.
Well, we have to. We have to, sir.
Oh, good Lord, no. It's people like
Yes.
23.
No, not at all. But no, happy days, many happy returns. Good evening
Thank
to
you.
everybody
You're very kind.
in the chat. Great to see you all. The usual Jenny Sale with us, Tom Stock. Good evening, Tom. Hey up, mate. Good to see that he's watching us. I think he's at work tonight. Kev Wall, as always, he's with us. Plenty coming in. Get your comments in the chat. Do you agree? Do you disagree with the nonsense that we're going to be talking this evening? Let us know. Yes, so round 25. It's unbelievable, isn't it? Just by my calculations, 5 weeks to go to the big one.
Unbelievable. How fast has this season gone?
Phenomenal, mate. Absolutely.
I think this is probably one of the quickest seasons.
Because it's been entertaining. Because it's been drama, mate. That's what it is. Been drama.
Unless you're a Warrington fan, it's just been drab for most of it. But
are you coming back? Coming back? It's not over.
The thing is though, the amount of people that are talking it down, and you're like, God, if you're going to talk this season down, what hope is there? It's been absolutely outstanding. It's been brilliant.
I know. I don't get it. Stop talk. As we were saying, I think last week or the week before, stop talking it down. Talk about the positives.
Absolutely.
And I think it was a couple of weeks ago we were saying that John Wilkin is a prime one for talking the game down when he should be bigging it up when he's got a platform to sell the game. And I think it's about time more people started selling the game. I mean, when we're watching, I don't know if anybody's been watching the Rugby Union World Cup.
No,
but I've been watching a few. I know. I will go to hell, but I've been watching a few games.
If I want to watch a ball being kicked, mate, I'll watch football. I'm not watching.
I know, but I've been watching a few games, and it's bar flashes. It's not a patch on rugby league.
No, mate. That red card. I saw that on the news. That red card. Head clash is a red card in rugby union.
I watched that, and it's simply a clash of heads. And he gets a red. Well, it seems to be only England players who get sent off for that kind of thing. I'm afraid it cost the English women the World Cup earlier this year in New Zealand. A similar thing that was just a head clash. A player gets sent off.
Going back to the point of the of Super League, in terms of the season. I think if you're the Super League script writer, you've still got a relegation battle with 2 games to go, and I know it's near enough over, but it's still there. You don't know who the top 3. We don't know who's going to finish top. And we still don't know who the top 6 are with 2 games to go.
Brilliant.
So, exactly.
I think that you couldn't ask for much more than that for us.
No. It's the perfect soap opera this year. You don't know what's going to happen.
So, absolutely. Well, lads, I've got to say a big hello to Chris Seedhouse. He's joining us for the first time this evening, live. Good to have you with us, Chris. And he's looking forward to the Salford review. In the Sheds is online in the usual place, Chris. YouTube, as always, very fair, as always, in what we had to say about that one. But yes, we'll be discussing that as well as all the usual fair this evening, sir. But yes, it's, as always, a massive one. And well, let's get straight into it, boys. We've got a big night ahead, as always. It will fly by, I'm sure. But first things first, let's go. And how many are we up to now? We're up to 5,952. By this time next week, we would expect to be over 6,000 of you, which is absolutely incredible, considering that we started the season around about 2003. I think, if memory serves me right.
I think you're right there, Dave. Yeah.
Unbelievable. And we were saying, we'll get to 3,000 this year. Days, 3 days indeed. So no, thanks everybody. Want to know? Keep getting involved in the chat. More members posting things, asking questions, trying to get some debate going. That's really encouraging. As always, just keep it clean. But happy days. Right, let's just do this one very quickly. Congratulations to Valkyrie, who of course lifted the Leaders' Shield this week. Many congratulations to them. Absolutely walked it, it has to be said. But now the real interesting, I mean, it's the 23rd of September, Greg, is that right? The semis for the women's game?
Yes, I think the grand final's the week before our grand final. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, I mean, it's been it's been the usual contenders in the Women's Super League this
Yeah,
year,
the
but
top
the standard is just is improving year on year.
Yeah.
You know, my daughter plays for the first team. I cover the first team games, and the game against St Helens, it was 56-6, but that's because Saints were clinical and Warrington could and should have scored more points. And the standard sounds one-sided. It actually wasn't for anybody who was there. It was just Saints know how to take the chances. And they're a good team. Saints are a real good team. They do it
and
right.
The Academy League, of course. I was at Wilderspool. There were the days.
Oh, I wish.
At the Halliwell Jones on Saturday. Warrington Wolves, really solid win against the Bradford Bulls. Warrington now will play Wigan this coming Sunday at Robbins Park in the semi-final of the Academy game, and also St Helens play Hull FC. So plenty of
really. You know what? And people should get down to watch those games because they're a great standard as well. If we're going to build a game, let's not just go and see the men's first team. Let's go and see the reserves, the academy, the women's game. Let's build it. Let's get behind it, like they're doing in football at the minute. You know, let's do it. Let's get behind it.
Well, I'll give a big shout out to the fullback. Sorry, Steph. I'll give it a big shout out to the Bradford Bulls fullback, a lad called George Flanagan. Had a really solid game for Bradford Bulls. Yeah. He looks a bit of a player, the lad.
Yeah, I've heard of George Flanagan.
Young lad called Ewan Smith played in the centre, first game of the season in the academy for Ewan. Didn't score, but by God, did he run hard from centre. So a couple of shout outs there. Really good players. Steph, you were going to say something, mate?
Yeah, just on the women's game. I don't know if you're aware, but Lee Leopards women hosted the game at the Lee Sports Village again this weekend. They unfortunately just lost to Barrow, so they missed out on automatic promotion, but I think they're going to the playoffs now. So, but congratulations to, I think Featherstone won by the division by default because Barrow didn't win by enough. So, but again, in terms of growing the women's game, they've got to get them in these stadiums, be it before the games or whatever. But Lee were putting on the bands again and the fireworks and stuff like that for the ladies' game, which I thought was fantastic.
Brilliant, and that's what other clubs have got to do. You know, we played Saints at the Totally Wicked Stadium. And there were 600 people in there, which doesn't sound a lot.
Yeah.
But you know, at the same time, there's a Warrington Salford game going on. There was lower league games going on. There were other games going on. So you know, you're right. And Lee are doing it right. Lee are giving them the proper treatment that they deserve.
Yeah. And it's full on corporate as well. You can get a meal before the game. I think there was nearly 1,000 on at the weekend. You know,
brilliant.
If you're going to grow the women's game, you've got to, clubs are going to have to back them, and it's not just about having a team; it's about promoting them as well.
I agree 100. I couldn't agree with you more, mate. I really couldn't.
Right, so getting back into the chat, Tracy Corbett, this was announced just before we come in. Nathan Massey has announced that he will be leaving Castleford at the end of the season. Featherstone Rovers is the expected destination for Nathan Massey. We wish him well. Played a fantastic game the weekend just gone. Did
Nathan Massey out? Maybe Tracy can tell us how long has he been at Castleford now? He's been there a while.
15 years, mate, I think, off the top of my head.
Been there a long time.
Years. Yeah, which is really, really good. And a couple of shout outs as well. Some Sarah Hooley Watson, good evening to you. Neil Saul, I hope I said that right, Neil. Good evening to you. Some new ones here. Adam Mags Maguire, hello to you. Some massive different names in here this week. We'll try and keep giving you shout outs. Get involved in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. We're one big happy family.
They're all here to wish me a happy birthday, I'm sure.
Indeed, sir. Indeed. This was announced, of course, today. An absolute brilliant piece of news, richly deserved. We saw what this man did at Wigan last year on their way to the Challenge Cup win. He had a massive impact on their attacking line. Greg, your Brisbane Broncos were devastating at the weekend. For me now, they're going to... What a final that would be. Penrith Brisbane is the final. Wow, that is going to be one monstrous game not to be missed. But yeah, Lee Breers, his legacy in the game as a player, nobody could argue Lee Breers, quality player. But his coaching career just seems to be going to new heights. Bring Steph in as a non-Warrington fan first. Steph, Lee Breers, mate, assistant coach of England.
Yeah, I think his career is just going from strength to strength in coaching. I think, to go from, the best team arguably in Super League at the moment to the best team in Australia, I think it's no coincidence, and I think the thing for me is I think he's a player's coach. The players buy into him, he gets on well with them, and I can't think of anybody better, really.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, He went to Wigan when they were kind of in the doldrums a little bit, and he turned them around. Brisbane were in the doldrums a little bit. I mean, last season was a disaster for the Broncos. And he's, it's no coincidence, is it, that the two teams he's gone to as an attacking coach have blossomed. So, the guy must, if he can do it for England, that'll be absolutely fantastic, I think.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. Brisbane last year. It's my South Sydney Rabbitohs this year. Shocking, absolutely shocking. But Sam Burgess confirming this week, gentlemen, on the Matty John show on Sunday that he is coming to Warrington. That's guaranteed. Minimum of 2 years is what he said. So Wire fans, do not panic. Sam Burgess is coming, and we'll see how that plays out. Will it be, as Greg said, I think a few weeks ago, an incredible decision, or basically another gaff at Wire?
There is. I can't see it. I can't see there being any middle ground. It's either going to be one or the other.
Yeah, absolutely. We put this on Facebook earlier on. Morgan Smith has gone to All FC. This for me, interesting signing for Tony Smith for next season, and a few disappointing comments about Morgan Smith. Greg, we saw him firsthand at Warrington when Wakey came to town, and Morgan Smith that day, I think that game, and if memory serves me right, the game after, which I need to remind myself who they went to. Let's have a quick look whilst I'm thinking. But Morgan Smith, I think it was All FC. Was it All FC?
It was. I think. Yeah,
it was All FC. Those two games, he had an absolute belting game.
He's an ex-Warrington player, isn't he? Yeah,
he's an ex-Warrington player, but he's a decent player. He's just never been given a chance at Wakefield.
No, and they were saying good things about him when he was at Warrington, and I can't remember whether it was injury or a signing that kind of pushed him back down the pecking order. I think it might have been injury. Yeah. And he never got the chance again, but there were big things talked about him at Warrington, and I really hope he blossoms into the player he's got the potential to be. I really do, because he's got the potential to be, a really, really good player. I must admit, when I read that, first of all, I thought he said Morgan Smithies. I was thinking, wow, that is a signing.
Yeah.
We'll talk
about that. We'll talk about that in January, mate. But that Wigan side, dear me, that's looking good for next season.
Steph,
have you seen much of Morgan Smithy? Morgan Smith, Steph? What's your take on the lad?
Didn't he sign from Featherstone? Did he go to Featherstone?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
I think he did.
So
he
did. We had a season against the season last season when we got promoted, and he always had great games against us. I think he's a very good player. I think under the right coaching, I think Tony Smith could be that guy to
exactly.
I think it could turn out to be could be a bit of a a shrewd signing. A lot of people don't really understand his game and stuff at the minute, but I remember playing very well for Featherstone, so I think he could be a very good signing for them.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I'll tell you another man. I mean, and this surprised me after the game at the weekend. Greg Eden coming out after the match saying that, I thought it might have been either the pre or the post-match press conference, saying that as yet his destination for next year has not been decided. I think the club have an option on Eden, but they haven't triggered it yet, which I find absolutely astonishing. Greg Eden, for me, is probably pound for pound Castleford's best player. So how on earth they haven't exercised that option yet, I don't know. And they better get a move on, because let me tell you now, this lad would be a good pickup. Dare I say, for the likes of Lee, the likes of Huddersfield, the likes of Salford, maybe. This lad,
maybe whoever comes up next season.
Yeah. He could be the next Charnley in terms of what Charnley's done this season. For any team in Super League, really, he wouldn't be a bad acquisition.
Yeah, absolutely. No, he's a fine player. He's Greg Eden. 3 in a row. He scored in the last 3 games. In the important games this season, the ones that Castleford have won, he's been on the score sheet. Of course, played standoff this week, not wing, and got a try and an assist. Got to give him his due. Scott Taylor announced his retirement. This was an interesting one. Only 32. Scott Taylor, 2-time Challenge Cup winner, of course. I was surprised about it. Maybe more's to come on this, but at 32, very surprised to hear this.
Injury.
Yeah, he's suffered a lot of injuries, hasn't he?
Maybe medically forced to retire or something. I think potentially.
Yeah. I agree with Steph.
As well. Is it testimonial season for him?
This year,
yeah,
I think it's been his testimonial. Yeah. Another player who's hanging up his boots at the end of the season confirmed is this man, Mitchell Pearce. There was rumours that he was going to go and have a swan song at the Sydney Roosters. That seems to have been well and truly put to bed now. And this is interesting for me, because the likes of Mitchell Pearce, we know that the Catalan squad is fragmenting at the end of the season anyway. They have gone a little bit out of form. We'll talk about that later. But, you know, it is fragmenting. We know that Pearce, we know that Tompkins, this is their last year. We saw what happened at Leeds when the golden generation came to an end. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one to watch this as the season plays out.
It is, but remember at the beginning of this season, I didn't predict Catalan would do anything this season because of the players lost last season. And look how they've gone. I think the one thing that Catalan have done up really well over the last few seasons is have a succession plan.
Yeah.
And, you know, they've obviously got some players coming through. I think Artur Morg is going to be key to that. They have to build a team around Artur Morg.
Yeah.
They have to.
Yeah.
From the experience of this season, I'm not going to write Catalan off.
No.
I think McNamara is a shrewd coach. And I think he's probably we might have a couple of surprise signings, I think, in the close season for Catalan. There are a couple of Aussie players who are out of contract who have been released.
They always seem to attract decent Aussie, but maybe because it's the south of France and the climate.
Yeah, it's the climate.
And he spent time in the NRL. Spent time in the NRL, didn't he, McNamara? So he's known over there and stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But Mitchell Pearce has been. He's been
minor Premier NRL winner, mate. Origin player. He's had a good career, hasn't
he? He's been okay with Catalan. I don't think he's been.
He's had glimpses, hasn't
he? Yeah, I don't think he's been the player he was in the NRL.
No.
But I think he's been solid. I think he's been decent.
He ripped us to beat this at the LSV.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
That's probably the best I've seen him play. I think I said that to you at the time. I thought that day he was top draw. Yeah. Absolutely top draw. Right then, let's get into some action, boys. Here comes the tries of the week for everybody's viewing pleasure. Here they come.
Seize the day.
There they are, the Super League Raw pick of the tries from this week. Some nice ones in there. Personally, did enjoy the Jordan Abdul one. 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. He come together. That was just a fact, wasn't it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying there, Greg? Right, there you are. Go on then, boys. What's your take, Steph? What was your favourite there?
Well, it was great to see Abdul getting a try back because that was his first game back, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
So yeah, from a hooking perspective, great to see him back because he was on fire at the beginning of the season. So coming to the playoffs, that's going to be massive for them.
Yeah.
And the Makinston try was a great one, but I'm going to do a Reggie and just say that was forward a mile. That last pass,
yes, by a mile, absolute mile.
Great try, but it was forward about. But it was they did superb. You know, they cut us open on that. So that was probably my favourite forward one.
I'm gonna because of the importance of it, and it hurts me to say, I'm going to say the Sam Stone try.
Yeah, it was executed
Because of the
really
importance
well.
of it, I mean.
Yeah, it was executed really well. I think Josh Fewless had wanted his time again on that. He was completely done by Burgess.
Yeah. But, you know, and going to the McGilvray try, McGilvray says he's not going to be at Huddersfield next season.
No.
So, interesting to see what Uncle Freddie says on that.
Yeah, no, it's a big blow that. It's a big blow that. You know, what a servant to that club Jermaine McGilvray has been. You know, it's a shame. It's a shame for me that's happening. I think for me personally, if he wants a contract, I think he's still got something in his legs. Yeah, I'll tell you another thing as well. When I was putting them together, you know, Tanginoa back for Wakey and went over. I mean, what a massive loss he has been pretty much all season through injury. Kalepi Tanginoa. Yeah, you know, that's been a hammer blow for their chance, and it's such a shame really that their run has pretty much just whimpered away on it.
Yeah. There was hope for him a couple of weeks ago, but he seems to have been snuffed out. And you know, you don't. As Steph says, we've got a pretty good writer for this season, a pretty good script writer. So who knows? There could be a few twists to come, but
they could.
I did say whoever won the Castle or whoever lost the Castleford Wakefield game would go down. Wakefield lost it, and I still stand by that. I think Wakefield are doomed, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think they're gone, mate. I tell you what was interesting as well. We put on the forum today. I don't know if you saw it, lads, but you know, I asked the question today over the two coaches, Rowan Smith and
he did. Yes,
Watson. You know, and if they have two big losses, which is not beyond the realms of possibility. I mean, you know, Leeds have got going to Catalan this week. Huddersfield, of course, play ourselves, and it's they play FC. And to be fair, you know, we'll get to predictions later. I can't see FC blowing them Huddersfield away. So of the two, I think Castleford play Leeds last game, and of course they beat them twice already this season. I think a Leeds fan put on our page that if we lose to Cast 3 times in the season, the coach has to go. And there's not an awful lot of love for those two at the moment. I think Rowan Smith would walk personally if it weren't for a bit of a payoff if he gets sacked. He just doesn't look happy to me.
Personality, isn't it? He never comes across as the most thingy coach, does he? He's not like out there and emotional. He seems just to be, whether they win or lose, he's very level.
He's very Tony Smith.
Yeah, he's not a personality, is he?
Yeah, but without the pedigree, mate.
Yeah, but he is. You close your eyes, and he sounds like Tony Smith, and you look at him, he looks like his dad Brian.
You'll have a Technicolor dream coat on in a minute, mate, if you keep closing your eyes. What's all that about?
Don't peel back that curtain, though, for God's sake.
Hey, absolutely. Anyway, you'll see for certain what's going on in the
people say this isn't scripted.
It's not. Just coming out and it. Fantastic. There you go. As you can see, Reggie Allen there continuing his drive towards the top and the summit of the Fans Forum Fantasy League. There'll be new people in the chat today watching this for the first time. At the moment, Reggie Allen is online for a new Super League shirt of Hull KR next season, courtesy of Super League Raw. That's what he's going to get.
It's a good one.
Yeah, let's hope it is. It was looking like it was going to be Ryan Birch, but he's still in touching distance, Ryan. He's not out of it yet. It's looking like a 2-horse race between these two. And for the second week running, credit must go to Graham Middleton. Another top week from Graham, 611 points for Graham.
Well done, Graham.
Well done to him. Top draw there. We'll say a few more hellos in a minute in the chat, but before we do, got to get into the highlights. But before we get into the highlights, let's take a look at the top performers from round number 25. Here they come. done to everybody there. Some really good numbers in that lot. Right, let's get into some highlights, starting with your team, Steph. Of course, it kicked off the weekend, the game between St. Helens and the Lee Leopards. And I have to say, this was arguably the best Super League game of the season thus far. Intensity, brutality galore.
Oh, it's phenomenal. Phenomenal game.
Yeah, it was an absolutely
really was
game. So I think it's the game I've most enjoyed that we've lost. I think I said to you at the time, Dave, it's not far off Origin intensity. It was two teams going hell for leather at each other. It had pretty much everything apart from sending offs in the game, and up to the point of us knocking on when we scored that try. It could have gone either way.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was absolutely forward.
Oh. Look at that! He passes it behind.
I'll be honest with you,
behind
boys.
the line, and he catches it in front of the line. It's scandalous.
Weren't his feet still behind the line? I think his feet might have still been behind the line.
It was a mile forward, Dave.
It was a great try. But no, I mean some of the tackles. I mean James Bell on Tom Amon. Wow.
Oh yes, that was a tackle.
Wasn't it?
That was a tackle. Yeah. Our windows shuddered. Never mind anywhere else. I mean that's poor. I mean,
that was a brave try. That was a brave try.
Yeah. And I think from Saints' point of view, I think he was on the stats a minute ago. 180 yard meters in this game. He was a beast. Yeah. He had a cracking game.
Yeah, in terms of his running, absolutely. I mean, he's and this is it, isn't it? I think with the likes of Wormsley and Parsi out, somebody like a Matauti has got to step up, and he's doing just that. He's stepping up, and I think the last 2 or 3 weeks now, his meter making has been top draw. Yeah.
Matauti is a class player, and he's had injury and suspensions this season that kind of held him back. But he's a kind of player that's going to do the business at this part of the season now if he stays fit and doesn't get suspended.
I tell you had a good game, mate. I thought I had a good game. Probably his best game of the season, James Roby.
He did.
I thought Roby had a really solid game. He went on a couple of runs.
Yeah. He had a great game.
He had a good game, did Roby? I thought he was really good.
Yeah, he was. He got in the mix, didn't he? He kind of did. He wanted to get involved into this game. This is a try. I mean, if only Warrington had a forward like Robert Mullen, he would have been great this season.
Dear me.
You've got a good one, to be fair.
Yeah, well, with him coming off the bench, would have been all right.
well, I mean, do you know what? Don't worry. I tell you what. No, I'm going to save that. I'm going to
go on, say it.
No, I'm going to save it. I'll save it. No, I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it. But no, I mean, look, I think from a Lee perspective, Steph, nothing to worry about in terms of the loss here. You competed really, really well.
Yeah, I think. I was going to say, I think having Asiata missing and our top try scorer in the league missing. I know they had Hurrell out, but
I mean, does anybody else think James Bell lost that ball?
Yeah,
I think he lost that ball. I think it comes out and hits a Lee player, and it's a knock on. But
it could have gone either way. That I think.
Gents,
I was convinced. It doesn't show the disallowed Lee try, does it?
It doesn't. No, it's in the history books. Well, we said, Greg, you said it. I said it last week. Rugby league was always going to be the winner, and it was. Yeah. That game did not disappoint. Brilliant,
great game
for our sport. Bell got 3 points in the Albert Goldthorpe. Matauti picked up 2. Lomax picked up 1. No real arguments with that, really. Jack Hughes, 200 Super League appearance in that game, and Jack Wellsby is 100th Super League appearance. 100 Super League appearances now for young Jack Wellsby, and it will only get bigger and bigger. Right, we move on then at a pace. Also, Wakefield, of course, took on Catalan Dragons. Guys, only by 8. I'd have expected Catalan to. I mean, Catalan for me are just at the moment. Yes, they've won this one, but they're not in good form.
Wobbling.
They need to get
wobbling.
They are. I mean, luckily for them, I think it's Leeds this week. And remind myself who they got last game of the season. It's Salford Red Devils. But at the moment, as good as they've been all season, all of a sudden they're not looking as much of a shoo-in for the grand final as perhaps they were 6 weeks ago.
They're hitting that dreaded ropey patch just at the wrong part of the season.
Yeah.
Every team usually will go through a bad patch.
Yeah.
And you pray that it's not at the business end of the season. And if you're Catalan, you've got to hope that this has been their dodgy period and they're getting back to the best.
Yeah. I think the thing with Catalan, I mean, they've been awesome all season. They like literally pretty much every game they've been outstanding. But the one thing they have got is they are quite an old squad. Coming to the business end of the season, it'd be interesting to see whether they could do. I'm not saying that they won't. Hang on, I actually tip them for the grand final, but that age factor may come into play, I think, towards the end of the season.
But it's the travel as well, isn't it? It's the travel as well. You know, is it just are they at that point of the season now where it's really starting to bite them?
It may well. It's travel and it's weather conditions as well, mate. I know it was hot at the weekend.
Yeah.
But when we get into the end of this month in October, it's the conditions that Catalan don't like.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right, mate. I mean, Chris Seedhouse, he's straight in the chat. Well done, Chris. Get involved, my mate. He said earlier in the season he thought it was a Catalan League final. He's now thinking it could be a Saints Wigan one.
I hope not.
What we know about this, what we know though about this season is you can't predict it. You really can't. As good as Wigan and Saints are looking at this moment in time, I still would not want to predict what two teams are walking out in that grand final. I really wouldn't.
Well, if the semi-finals are anything to go by, or the Challenge Cup,
could go either.
But I hope it's not a Wigan Saints final again. I really do. It's.
When was the last time it was a Wigan Saints final? We're going back a few years. Aren't we? I'm trying to remember because last year it was Leeds Saints.
Was it the year before?
Season before was Catalan. It was Catalan the year before. So we're going back. It's a few years since Wigan and Saints walked out together.
4 years, 4 or 5 years.
It's gonna be, mate. So it's not as.
I know, but I just hope it's not. I just hope it's not a Saints Wigan final.
Well, we will find out. Arthur Morg didn't come out for the second half. I think Steph's trying to look up when it was. Arthur Morg.
2020.
When was it, mate?
2020.
Yeah, so
3 years ago,
3 years back, innit? Morg didn't come out for the second half. He's carrying a bit of a rib knot. That's got to be a concern for the Catalan Dragons.
Yeah.
AGM, the Albert Goldthorpe medal, 3 for Sam Tompkins. Absolutely, there he is, Big Sam. And he goes.
He brought the water on magnificently, did Mr. Tompkins?
No, to be fair, Tompkins did have a good game. 2 for Tanginoa and 1 for Kershaw. Mike McMeekin, it was his 250th appearance in Super. I think that was his career actually. Tompkins is 100 for Catalan, and Eddie Batty 100 Super League appearances.
Eddie Batty, do you remember a couple of seasons ago where he was unplayable?
Right. Well, he's up to 100 now in Super League, is already
unplayable. Eddie Batty a couple of seasons ago.
And this, of course, the game that pretty much for me secures Castleford's future. Said on In the Sheds, massive shout out to Adam Swift. 11 successive games he's been on the try scoring sheet. 14 tries in the last 11 games. 19 now for the season for Adam Swift. Sensational.
Yeah. And Hull are letting him go.
Nothing more to say.
No.
Nothing more to say.
Nothing more to say.
Fair enough. Obviously, Greg Eden as well on the score sheet. But here he is. How many times has this young man in his early career, 19 years of age, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Surely he's going to wear number 5 for Castleford next year, you'd think.
Well, hasn't he been out on loan this season?
He has been in and out, yeah. I think he's had a
bit of an injury.
Yeah, he's had a few appearances this year.
Yeah, he's got it. I mean, maybe that's why. Maybe Castleford has seen him as the replacement for Eden.
Maybe. I mean, he's got speed, the kid. His first try, I thought his first try, more than the length of the fielder. There's a lad who's had a great season as well, Broadbent. Really good season, Jack Broadbent. I said Eden has probably been their pound for pound best player, but I think Jack Broadbent's not a million miles behind him.
No, and that's a really cheeky finish.
Yeah.
That's clever. That's clever.
No, absolutely. Castleford very lucky, Steph, that Wakey got off to that bad start. I think if Wakey had picked up a few early season wins, the one at Salford springs to mind, 13-12 drop goal, Golden Point. Yeah. That springs to mind. If they'd have picked up a couple of early wins when they went on that run just after Magic Weekend. I think they could have. I think they could have done them. I think they could have done Cass, but I think time's just run out, hasn't it?
Yeah, and it's interesting to comment on someone whose team was meant to be in it, and we're not. And I think both of those two would have thought, oh no, when Lee started to go on that run, it just ended up being those two in it. And I think Cass are very lucky that Wakefield did have that very poor start. Was it 13 games or something they went before?
Yeah.
Nightmare.
So, I think Cass have been in a position that we were in last year where we were lucky that Toulouse were worse than we were.
Yeah, I agree.
We would have gone down last season if it hadn't been for Toulouse. No shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, it was 50. It was 15 defeats on the sprint there, Wakey.
15, wow. And and I do sympathise with both of these two clubs because there's nobody knows better than us what it's like to be relegated from Super League. I think we probably hold the record for it. It's not a nice, and I feel for the fans of both of those clubs this season. It's been pretty horrific. But
and they're both good traditional rugby league teams as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And what'll really sting Wakefield is if Featherstone come up. That'll hurt.
Yeah,
that will really hurt.
Well, they're the Wakefield borough, aren't they? All those Pontefract, all around there. Yeah. So if they get replaced by the bus stop in Wakefield, then there will be. Kev
Wobble here, a really good point. Oh, good evening to Charlotte Coates. Hello, Charlotte. There's a new name. Peter Donnelly, good evening to you as well. Kev Ogden, good to see Kev. Alex Sharp with us as well. Good to see Alex. But yeah, Kev Wobble in the chat. Where would they have been if Fifita had been with them all season? Good question.
That's a great question. Great question.
Well, they were missing a leader. That's 100% not in doubt. Wakefield, since they brought Gale in, and when they brought the big bopper Fifita back in, they started to all of a sudden, when Gale started playing as well, get a bit of a run going. So they were missing a leader.
But by all accounts, Dave Fifita brought some good undergarment. Chantilly lace, I believe, was used for them. Dave Fifita coming back. Is that going over your heads, that, boys? You're not 1950s now. Big bopper, Chantilly lace. No.
No, mate. No, it just.
Oh, dear.
I'm only 31, me.
Hello, baby. Let's move swiftly on. Anyway, the AGM.
You're a big disgrace, mate.
Disgusting behaviour on a Tuesday night. 3 for Gary, 2 for Miraz Mustafa, and 1 for Johnston. All 3 going for the way of Castleford. Gareth Widdop, his 300th career appearance. Alex Meller, he's 200th, and Massey, he's 300th for Cass. 300 appearances for Castleford. Massey.
What a stalwart! What a stalwart for Cass! Yeah. What a guy!
Yeah, happy days.
There aren't that many players that spend that long at a club.
No.
Got to be applauded. Got to be applauded.
It has. Tony Pennington here in the chat. Rumours, I presume it's a rumour, Tony. Matt Pete signed till the end of 2027. Wouldn't surprise me. Would not surprise me at all. I've not seen it before we came on, but yeah, I'd expect we're going to try and...
The guy's done a great job. An absolutely great job. Really has.
Completely agree. Huddersfield Giants, Hull KR. Nice try, this first one from Will Price. Look at that, afterburner on. Goodbye, boys.
Look at that.
Lovely that. Lovely turn of pace, but that's as good as it got, really, for Huddersfield. Hull KR, I think of Lee, Warrington, and Hull KR. These are the most likely at the moment, based on form, to cause an upset in the playoffs. They've been very, very good since that loss at Wembley.
Oh, did he drop that, though?
He did. I think he did.
He dropped that. Yeah.
And I think actually, if we take it back, I think even he thinks he did.
Look at this. Yeah.
I mean, look at this. Look at him. He's like, no, I definitely did put it down, mate. Yeah.
He's having a.
That'd have gone upstairs, mate. That'd have gone upstairs.
Yeah.
But no, OKR, mate. I mean, genuinely.
You threw me with a knock on. I thought you were going to say forward.
No, it wasn't Saints, so it couldn't have been forward.
Well, do you agree? Hull KR at the moment, based on the fact that Abdul's back now as well. They've got Walker at the back. I think they've got Lewis, Schneider, Abdul, Parcell, Litton. We know their pack can go toe to toe with other other larger packs. The likes of George King. We've given him many plaudits. Elliot Minchella, quality. Got they have got bags of quality. Hull KR, and they're playing well.
Yeah,
and the finally. Sorry, Steph. They're finally playing to the potential.
Yeah,
that they've shown for the last couple of seasons, and it's good to see. I noticed today that Schneider's apparently going to Penrith next season.
Yeah, Jerome. What was that? I mean, that would suggest Luai's on his way for me.
Maybe.
Yeah, because because there's been a
the,
lot of rumours, salary cap in it, salary cap and
reduced.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, Steph, I interrupted you there, mate. You say what you want to say.
I was concurring with you, Reggie. I think out of all the ones below Lee at the moment, including Lee, I think Hull are probably the most dangerous at the moment.
Yeah,
I don't think any side would want to play him at the minute.
No.
They've been outstanding, and now having Abdul coming back as well, that just creates a triple threat. I just hope they don't put Lewis back. Well, I hope they do put Lewis back to fullback.
Yeah, Lewis isn't a fullback, is he?
No, they can't. Mate. They can't.
But I would with Snyder going back now. I'd bring him on as a utility, and I'd have Abdul and Mikey Lewis in the halves for Hull KR. I think they're a far dangerous team with that, and Abdul's kicking game.
I think now that Schneider's on his way, I think you've got to go with Lewis and Abdul in the halves.
Yeah,
I think you've got
to. Well, you say. I mean, look, I think I don't. Can they fit him in? I don't know. I don't know. But I mean, the problem is, I don't think Schneider's droppable. He's been that good. He's been that. There's an example again. You know, you can't put Abdul in for Schneider because Schneider is
that's a dodgy finish as well. Having a look at it again.
Well,
no, I mean, isn't this a great luxury to have?
Oh, absolutely.
You know, if you're Hull KR and you've got players that you can't drop that need to be dropped, you must be pinching yourselves. I think it's a bit like Leigh fans. Yeah. You must be pinching yourselves thinking, wow, we've finally got a team, a squad where where players have got to fight.
Yeah.
And it can only be good for the game. It really
next year, mate, the squad's even better. I don't know if you guys caught the post-match press conference of Ian Watson. I mean, I feel for Uncle Freddie and Joel. Deary me, that guy can whinge. I mean, I said on In the Sheds, if he opens his toy box and none of his new toys are in there, he's not playing.
Oh,
it's just unbelievable. You know, there's always an excuse.
It reminds me of Thingo Dursley, who Harry Potter stayed with when he got 36 presents, and last year he got 37, and he kicks off.
Yeah.
That's who he reminds me of.
Mate. Yeah. Ridiculous, mate. Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry for a Harry Potter reference there.
No, not at all, mate.
It comes back to the charisma thing. I think he's, and I rate Watson as a coach. I think but I think as soon as he gets players who are really good players, he's not working with like your Salford when they were struggling for team and stuff like that. It doesn't seem to work for him. I just don't think it's the right fit for him there at the moment with the players they've signed.
Well, one thing's for certain, we said about Powell. Powell needed a good start, didn't do him any good in the end. I think Ian Watson needs a good start next year. 3 for Abdul, back. He's back. He gets 3 points in the Albert Goldthorpe. There you go. 2 for Schneider and 1 for Lynette. Kane Lynette's having a good season.
Kane Lynette's a great player. Kane Lynette is solid. Yeah.
Right, dear God.
Wow. Oh, Lord, if you're a Rhinos fan, my word.
How poor are the Leeds Rhinos? Yeah. This is the Leeds Rhinos.
If you could sum up this game in one image, it'd be Newman shushing the Wigan.
Oh, mate.
Oh, how funny was that? I mean, I'm no fan of Wigan, but that was so funny.
Silly boy. I mean, and you know what? Again, I mean, Sean Wayne's come out today and said yet again he will not be picking Harry Newman for England. He's got to sort this temperament out. I mean, he's a liability. I mean, and this here, I mean, I can't remember how many. Was it something like 16 minutes into the game? Was it 6 minutes into the game? Something like that. I mean, that for me, you're coming up against the Wigan side, mate. If that's in the last minute, fair enough. Oh, dear. I mean, that's comedy gold, isn't it?
It's genius. It's absolutely, the Wigan fans must have been absolutely loving that after. It's just comedy gold.
The thing that would upset me more as a Leeds fan is the way they just gave up in the second half.
Yeah,
there was no fight. There was no fight, and that's why I fear for Rowan Smith.
Yeah,
I think
something's not right. I think something's not right there at that club, mate.
Well, I'd question why McDonald's not going back, and I know we don't know what the reasons are and stuff, but he's been one of their best players this season.
Yeah,
he obviously doesn't want to be there. So there is something not right at Leeds, 100%. And the players that they're bringing in are average that have been announced, whether they have got some more up the sleeve, a bit like what Lee do in terms of announcing them later on. I don't know, but I worry for them next season.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought that they would get relegated, but
Leeds next year, unless they start buying some quality. I mean, they're
not going to get relegated, Leeds, but they're going to be out of the top 6 for a few seasons unless they put their ideas up.
Mate, the starting 17 just simply, there's too many kids. And I'm sorry to say this, but unless they sign some experience for next season, they're not going to do anything.
This to me was not a try.
Mate, it was offside. I'm going to go back now. I mean,
it's offside, and
it's not the first time.
Twice.
It's not the first time, mate. I don't know, but it's not the first time this has happened this season. It happened at Warrington against Wigan when the O'Neill try. The video referees this season, I don't know what it is, are far too quick to call players onside. Far too quick. It's not this one, it's the next one. Because Jay Field is offside at the kick and inside the 10.
Yeah.
And they give the try. But straight away, they're looking at Wardle, looking at Farrell. When we look at this in a minute, I'll try and pause it. Jay Field's offside. And the video ref couldn't make it. I mean, it didn't matter in the end. They won 50-0. But in playoff rugby league, this could be vitally important. But look at Field there. Right, that Field is here behind this player. Now, okay, you could argue, has the video referee seen him? But the bottom line is, run it on. There he is. Here he is.
Yeah.
He's inside the 10.
Yeah.
That is offside. That is not
plus
a try.
Farrell knocks on twice.
Well, yeah. Those decisions, mate.
Since the fuss over the Wakefield non-try,
they've
not looked at that, and that's wrong. Because yes, there was fuss over the Wakefield try being disallowed, and they're the rules of the game, and everybody made a fuss. And since then, video refs have ignored that player being inside the 10 because of the fuss that's been made. Now, that to me is poor refereeing, and you're not applying the rule. The one difference, and I've said this a lot recently, the one difference between union and league is union referees apply the laws, league referees interpret them, and that makes a massive difference.
Right, we're going to have a bit of sport. We're going to have a bit of sport now. Alex Sharp here, basking in the glory. He's defending his team, bless him. Basking in the glory of beating Warrington, Catalan and Saints and Wigan this season.
Fair play.
Dare I say, Alex, that's little club mentality. It really, really is. There's no trophy there, my friend. What I would say is, right, when we, back in the day at Wilderspool, were absolute pants, we could put a show up on one occasion against Wigan every now and again. But at that time, we had no ambition to win a trophy. We were a club that knew our place, and every now and again we beat Wigan. Are you really saying that the mighty Leeds Rhinos, that's it? Beating Catalan, beating Saints and beating Warrington will do? Really, Alex? Really?
I think on that one, I would just say, don't look at who you beat, look at who you've lost to. And not just been lost to, been battered by on a few occasions.
And to be honest, Steph and Dave, Warrington should have absolutely battered Leeds that day.
Well, the other thing here as well.
They didn't, fair enough, and Leeds took the chances, but we should have absolutely battered Leeds that day. They were so poor. But
Alex is now going on about his injured players. Alex, look, you can't say that. You shipped Austin out. Caesars was never a good option for you anyway. Injury prone. Yes, the Harry Newman one, massive blow. Give you that one. Richie Myler getting a bit old.
Yeah, but Richie Myler's solid and dependable.
He is solid.
Dependable.
He is solid. But what if Nelly McDonald's forgotten how to find his passport? It's just unfortunately the club, mate, is in dire straits. Just accept it.
Even if Leeds had no injuries whatsoever this season, they wouldn't have been in the top 6.
Well, there's a statement. Anyway, we've lost Alex. He's now turned us off. He's from.
Oh, was it? Oh, Alex, come back. It's my birthday.
No, he's not. He'll be about. But hey, but no, I mean, our belief was Morgan Smithies that KPP was on his inside shoulder there. He wasn't going to run, was it?
No. No. Do you know what? I think KPP is going to be a big loss to Wigan next year.
Well, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. How good currently though are Wigan? In the last 7 games, they've won all of them. And the frightening thing is, right, they've scored 257 points and only conceded 56 in 7 games. That is frightening.
Yeah, I mean, Wigan, and it hurts me to say this, but Wigan are a team that have a winning mentality, and it's ingrained in them from being, from the academy side, from the reserve side, from the kids that play for Orrell and for Wigan St Pat's and Wigan St Jude's, Wigan St Cuthbert's. It's ingrained in them that they are winners, and that's you can see it in the winners. They are, and it's the mentality of the club that a lot of other clubs, if Wigan could bottle that, they'd be billionaires.
I think I said on
something that club has.
Yeah, I think I said on one of the last shows I was on, there's only 2 teams that have not beaten this season, and that's Catalan and Wigan. And Wigan, the times we played us, have put a score on us both times. They're the best team in the division at the moment.
Mate, to go to Perpignan and beat a Nilham 34-0, and regardless of what I've just said to Alex in jest, to go to Headingley and beat Leeds 50-0.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're
the team to beat. They're the team to beat.
100%.
There are very few teams in sport that have that mentality. The Australian cricket team, the Australian rugby league team and rugby union team, Liverpool in the 70s and early 80s had that mentality. United in the 90s and the 2000s. They are special teams, but Wigan seem to have, whereas all those other teams seem to lose that winning mentality, Wigan never seem to lose that winning mentality. That it's been ingrained since. The best thing that happened to Wigan was being relegated in the 80s, because they've never lost that winning mentality since.
They've always been. I mean, I remember that one season where, was it for the breach of the salary cap, where they very nearly went down.
Where they got Brian Noble in.
Got Fielding from Bradford mid-season, didn't they?
Yeah, and Brian Noble as well.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I think that, you talk about balance as well. I mean, it's just an incredibly balanced side. They've got a great 3-quarter line. Field and French outstanding. They losing the likes of Cooper hasn't hurt them. Dupree coming in, I think it's been a masterstroke. It just gives them a bit, a solid platform. If they lose Byrne, that'll be a loss. But here it comes. I said I'd save it. Barry McDermott. Right, boys, I'll get your take on this.
Go on.
Unbelievable. He's shooing his picks for the dream team brought forwards this season: Liam Byrne and Robbie Mulhern. Liam Byrne. Unbelievable.
No.
Unbelievable.
Ahead of Paul Vaughan and Amoni.
Yeah.
Mate, he's only done 1,300 metres this season. Vaughan's done 3,100 metres.
Was it Barry McDermott that said that?
Barry Mack, yeah. I nearly choked, mate, on my dinner. When he said it, I was like, unbelievable punditry. Where have you got that from? And he actually said to Bill Harper, "It's dream team time, Bill." Yeah, and he's nowhere near it. He's about 10 forwards before Liam Byrne, Barry. What have you been watching all season? Absolute shocker.
The first thing I did, Dave, was jump on the text to you as soon as I quit it. And I went, "Is this guy for real?"
I couldn't even text. I couldn't even text.
He's a good player in a very good team. But to even compare him with Paul Vaughan, Tom Amone is just absolutely it's ridiculous. It's absolutely, and he's a prop for. He's in the club. He should be recognising people who excel in his field. Yeah. It just goes to show they don't watch the games.
They don't, mate.
No, they don't.
We've said that. However long we've done these podcasts, you can see it in the man of the match that they give. They don't watch the games.
No,
they don't watch the games.
It was the worst bit of punditry. I'd have to say, if we were going to do shamies for the season, Barry Mack would get it for that. That was an absolute howler. Yeah. Shocking. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Byrne's a decent player, but like you say, Steph, he is nowhere. He's nowhere near Amone and Vaughan.
No,
nowhere near him.
I'd argue Sarte.
He's never at. Never.
You know what? He wouldn't even if the dream team had a bench, he wouldn't even get on the bench.
No. It was, yeah. No, he would drive.
That's nasty.
Right, okay. I had to go there. I'd save that one up. And actually, I can't remember. I can't remember if it was Dawn actually. So a Wigan fan was like, he also said it about Mulhern. I went, yeah, I know, but at least I can't remember what my response was, but I went, yeah, I know that, but come on, Burn, shocker.
Yeah.
I mean, at least Mulhern's.
Mulhern would be driving the bus at least.
Oh, mate, unbelievable. Albert Goldthorpe, 3 for that man there, Jake Wardle, 2 for Harry Smith. He'll be happy with his kicking a bit better. It got off to a ropey start, but he'll be happy for that kicking practice. And here's one for you, Steph, as well as yourself, Greg. Abbas Miski, come from absolute nowhere, Miski. 22 tries now for the season. They play Castleford on Friday. I'd fancy him for at least 2 in that one. All of a sudden, could Abbas Miski at the death? I mean, another one, Tommy Makerson, I think he's 22 as well. But of them, could Miski come from nowhere and take the top try scorer?
It's not done. The top try scorer is definitely not done. And again, referencing the previous show I was on I think it was about 5 weeks ago now. We were saying then about how well Miski was doing. He's been a revelation, and part of Wigan being so good is that they've got like Marshall on one wing and him on the other. I think he's nailed on for that starting spot next year.
God, yeah.
Number 2, 5, whatever it is. He's nailed on for it, that lad. He's been brilliant.
I'll tell you what else he's on for, mate. Bet he's on for a decent pay rise as well, because I bet he's on.
Oh, absolutely. Well, he came from London. Was it London Broncos?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, London.
Yeah,
he won't be on much. He'll be asking for the old palm to be stroked with silver.
Well, do you know what? If he doesn't get a decent pay rise, there'll be a few clubs alerted to that.
I don't know if he's contracted. I don't know what his contract is. I don't think I've seen him as a free agent. I'm pretty sure he's contracted for Wigan next season.
Yeah, he is contracted.
Yeah, I think he is. But if they don't give him the terms he wants when it's up, there'll be a few.
Yeah, he'll be tightly free, won't he? He'll be saying, "I'm
mate, incredible season, Abbas Miski." So there you go. That's that one, and then of course this one.
Do we have to?
Yeah, it's a I mean, look, it lacked quality, but it had theatre. I mean, what I will say, and I'm just going to bang it out there because I've done in the sheds, so people can see more what I'd say on the game on that one. 2 things for me. I said it on in the sheds. I'll say it again now. Briley has to go for 10 minutes. Has to.
Yes.
I mean, that's a shocker.
Mate, yeah.
And the second thing from me, Stephen Ratchford, if you win a toss in Golden Point, you kick. You do not receive.
Of course you do.
Those 2 things for me, vitally important in Warrington losing this game.
The thing with the Thewlis decision is he knows if he gives a penalty, he has to sin bin him. And he gives the wrong decision on the back of the fact that he has to sin bin a Salford player. And that is, the difference between you and the league, interpreting the laws and applying the laws.
Yeah.
And you cannot make a decision based on the fact that you will have to send a player off.
No. Well, if you remember, though, Briley did that.
We've had a Union International sin bin for sent off for a head clash. It didn't bother them.
No.
It's an absolutely scandalous decision.
It is, mate.
One of the worst decisions I've ever seen.
If you remember, mate, they did that at home at Warrington. He got sent for 10 at Warrington, didn't he, Briley?
Yeah. It is on a par with the Russell Smith decision in 1994 that cost us the league.
Oh, remember that.
It's that bad a decision.
Remember that.
It's that bad a decision.
What a season that was. Was it Warrington, Bradford and Wigan? All level points. Wigan took it on points difference.
Yeah, and I'm not so sure he didn't drop that,
I mean, the only 2 bits of quality in this game was the Stone try and the Williams try.
Yeah, it was poor quality.
Was poor on quality.
And I'm afraid the only memory I've got of this is the concierge in St Helens foyer jumping up and down celebrating the Salford try, which hurt me a lot, I could tell you. But when he gets out of hospital, I'll buy him a bottle of wine. No, I didn't. And when he's watching, fair play to him.
I think from a neutral's perspective, it wasn't the best game. It 100% wasn't. But from an entertainment point of view,
yeah, it was dramatic.
I've not seen Mrs. Sales excited on this couch for a long time. I tell you, at the end of that.
And on that bombshell.
But what happens in the kitchen stays in the kitchen. Is that what you're saying, Steph?
Good night, everyone. I'll see you next week.
No, it was. We were both screaming at the TV when Singleton. I thought they'd bombed it, by doing.
Oh, mate.
So are you telling us you were supporting Salford against Warrington there, mate?
I wasn't. No, I was neutral. I wasn't supporting anybody. We just said I thought he bombed it, and he did. They should be knocking the one over there and end the game. And then you're thinking, well, that's the turning point. Warrington are going to go down and win it, and then they end up scoring a try rather than a drop goal. It was a brilliant ending. He's proposing. The start was poor, but the ending was fantastic.
No,
I
agree. Now, look, it is what it is, and of course, it keeps the season bubbling quite nicely, doesn't it? It really, really does. 2,000 points in this game for Mark Sneyd.
So, what was that penalty for then? In front of the
sticks,
Mr. Moore?
It was offside, wasn't he? He was offside. So it comes off Harrison there, and Dudson is offside. No issue. with
Dudson.
That.
Dudson was born offside.
Mate. I mean, I'm big on my numbers. I know that chairman and coaches are big on numbers. They must be looking at Gil Dudson's numbers, Warrington, this season, going, "What have we done here?" Because, quite frankly, at the moment he's not justifying his place.
Yeah, to be fair, the fella could fall over and make more yards.
Well, isn't that who you replaced Mulhern with?
Yeah,
but hang on. I mean, you don't know.
That's exactly who we replaced Mulhern with.
But you don't know how much Dudson. But we don't know how much Dudson's on, and we don't know how much Mulhern got offered. So again, in a salary cap sport, you can't make that assessment. However,
it was in jest. It was in jest.
Yeah, it's anyway.
No, it wasn't.
Albert Goldthorpe, 3 for Brodie Croft, deservedly so. I thought he had a decent game. 2 for Stone, 1 for Curry. Don't know where
Curry.
Yeah,
Ben Curry had one of his worst games I have ever seen for Warrington.
Ben Curry, mate. Curry got the point.
Awful. He was like a turnstile.
Yeah.
He was. I watched this game back, and I thought, Ben, if you don't put your ideas up, mate, you're out of this team.
Yeah.
When Sam Burgess comes in, if we've got Fitzgibbon coming in next year, and I'm thinking it's Fitzgibbon and it's Nicholson, because Ben Curry was.
Well, they're putting Nicholson
Ben Curry is a superb player, but he was awful.
It was awful in this one, but I think over the course of the season, Curry's been all right. I think Nicholson. Again, I thought Matty Nick had a decent game. I think he's only a kid as well. I mean, how good's Matty?
He is going to be sensational, Matty.
He's no wonder Wigan were gutted when we pinched him.
Yeah,
absolutely outstanding stuff. So to go back to Steph,
don't Salford go to Hull KR next?
Yes, we're coming to that. We're coming to that, sir. We're coming to that, our Steph. But this is the current state of play. Fascinating. I still think that it's going to be points difference that get it for Wigan. I think, like I say, that run that they've been on, 257 for, 56 against in the last 7 games. It's just phenomenal form that they find themselves in. So I'm still thinking Wigan. I think it's a lottery between Catalan and Saints. I think it really is. Saints will not be giving up hope on. I think if they beat us on Friday, I think Catalan will beat Leeds. I would hope that Catalan, if Saints do beat Warrington, I'd hope it's less a margin than Catalan could put on Leeds, and that could go in Catalan's favour. Albeit Catalan's last game is against Salford, I think, which if Salford are still in with a shout, that's going to be a difficult game for the Catalan Dragons. It is Salford away. Whereas for St Helens, let me just have a quick look. Their last game is Hull FC, which, let's be fair, gents, they'll do a number on FC. So, that second spot is still up for grabs. I do think Wigan now will go on and lift the shield. You're looking good, Steph. However, KR could do you.
Yeah, I think. You'd like to think we'd beat Wakefield on Friday night.
You would, but
I think you will. I think you will.
Yeah. Obviously, we're going to come to that in a bit, but I think if we lose to Wigan and they put a score on us like they have done the last 2 times, then Hull KR have got Wakefield, I think, on the last game of the season.
Last game of the season, yeah.
So, you know, now the points difference is only 45. So it only takes 24 points swing either way, buried on 2 even results. So it depends. A lot will depend on this week's fixtures in terms of how much we can make a points difference. If we can get it to 60, 70 points difference, I think we could be okay.
Yeah, but you say that KR, mate, could do equally as good against Wakefield. And if you look at your performances, I mean, look, it's all up for grabs, but if you look at your performances this year against Wigan, 34-6 and 44 points to 18, if that was to relive itself, like you say, it's fascinating. 4th is still up for grabs.
Is the game at your place or at Wigan?
No, it's at home.
It's at home. It's at home.
I think you'll win that. I think you'll win that.
Oh, that's a big call, Reggie. That could be to decide the league leaders.
Yeah, and I think you'll win that.
Well, Wigan, I know for a fact, Wigan have sold out their allocation of the South Stand already.
Yep.
They're already
I think you'll win
3
that.
more blocks to do it. That's going to be, if that's not on Sky Sports, I don't know if they decided yet, but if that's to decide the league leaders, based on the way that the Leeds Saints game went the other week, that could be an Origin game. That could be mental.
And I think depending on the results this weekend, you win that.
Maybe it's going to be interesting. We'll get to that next week. But anyway, like I say, Salford, I think Warrington's shining light here is the fact that Salford have got 2 really, really tough games to finish the season, KR and Catalan. And I think that more so than Warrington could be the difference for Warrington. I think it's a shame I've got to say that. And like I said on In the Sheds, I don't think either of those 2 sides, based on what I've seen in the second half of the season, are going to be up to much in the playoffs anyway.
Who were your last 2 days? Who did Warrington play?
Warrington have got Saints, then Huddersfield.
Saints and Huddersfield.
So, yeah. So, yeah. It's all there. It's all to play for. It's going to be interesting. Right, should we do the team of the week, gentlemen?
No,
we do the predictions? Let's do team of the week. Here it comes. It's the Sibley Raw Team of the Week for round number 25. Here we go again, and the fullback is Jay Field for his hat-trick and picks for this season. On a day where Wigan could let loose and enjoy themselves, Field had a field day. In fact, he was walking in a field of gold against a very poor Leeds Rhinos side. At number 2 for the 4th week in a row is Tommy Makinson. He scored 12 tries in the last 6 games, and 2 of them came in this one. 2 classics as well. His second was absolutely superb. 22 now for Tommy in the race for the top try scorer this season. He's well and truly in that race. At number 3, Tim Lafay. Oh, he was his usual evasive self against the Wolves. He fell foul of his overloading prowess time and time again. Whilst not as consistent as he was last year, this performance was 24 carats. Lafay at number 4, the Wardle of Wimbledon, was at it again with a superb hat-trick. A player of undoubted quality. He's now scored a 4-point. He's settled in nicely at the Cherry and Whites at number 5 on debut for the 2023 season. Jason Gary, who delivered the 2 tries to ensure that the Tigers would be part of the 2024 Super League season. The 19-year-old has 13 tries in 20 appearances for the Tigers. Will he get the number 5 shirt next year? Surely he will. At number 6, demonstrating why he was last year's Man of Steel, is Brodie Croft. Oh, he was the only mark of quality in a game that was more like carry-on rugby league. Lovely to see his passion and pride in the shirt as he went over for his first try. At number 7, it had to be Harvey Smith, who had a hand in 22 of the 50 points that the Warriors put on the Rhinos. This was a masterclass in-game kicking. If Rosa Klebb was as effective, James Bond would have died in 1963. Oh, at number 8, at prop forward, if Gary got the headline, Nathan Massey did the bump and grind. Austin and Eden would not have been as effective without the contribution of the painted gladiator on debut in Team of the Week. At number 9 for his 4th time this season is Andy Ackers. Oh, he's well and truly in the window, isn't he, for that test series against Tonga at the end of the season. A gritty and professional their toes. At number 10, well, unlike the Super League panel, we call the best players of the week in their position without the caveat of whether their team won or lost. And once again, Paul Vaughan did the meters and the work to demand the number 10 shirt. At number 11, oh, a player who has been consistent all year long, Mr. Kane Lynette of the Robins. Kane is certainly able to write his history in the scriptures of Hull KR folklore. At number 12, another complete performance from Joe Batchelor in a team of the week for the second time in 3 weeks. He's in defence and attack. Batchelor has all the tools to influence the right edge for the Saints. What a player. And finally, at loose forward is perhaps one of the rising stars of 2023. James Bell put the Leopards on their bottoms and you could see the tears. Who would have thought James would be the one to ring the bell at Tom Amone, who left the field hearing tones of an East Award in his ear. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your team of the week for round number 25. So there it is. Team of the week for round number 25 is in the record books once again. Thoughts, gentlemen?
Rosa Kleb.
Great line, that one, it. It's a great line, now. It's a great line.
Do you know what the great line was?
Go on.
Kane was able to write his name in the scriptures.
Mate, that's poetry, innit?
Mate,
Poetry, that.
That was. I'm bowing down to you. That was.
Yeah.
Oh, that was genius, sir.
Genuflecting, mate. That's what you're doing.
What you do in your spare time, mate, has nothing to do with me. But
yeah, but no, you know, mate, all I will say is, mate, I'm a cunning linguist when it comes to team of the week. Anyway, yeah, I mean, look at that. I mean, yeah.
It's a sea of red and white, sir. A sea of red.
It is a sea. And in fact, actually, Dawn just said that. Dawn, where's Liam Byrne? Says Chris Seedhouse. He's at home washing his tights, my friend. That's where our Liam is.
That's comedy gold. That's comedy gold. That. Well done.
Absolutely, yeah. He's not there. He's not there. He's just behind them floodlights. But no.
That was Brody
I mean, look. Yeah, I mean, I think Crofty there. I think Gary deserving of his spot. James Bell. You know, he's making that loose forward position his own, isn't he?
Yes. Well, he's that good. He's forced Morgan Knowles into the prop position.
Well, I presume he's injured because he weren't playing, was he?
But he has been playing at prop to accommodate. Bell.
No, I think he did play against us. He started prop, didn't he, against us?
No, I thought did he? I don't think he did.
Morgan Knowles, I think he did. Yeah,
he did.
Did he? All right. He must have. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
He was that anonymous. You didn't notice him, Dave.
For you to say.
Yeah, but to be fair, the Saints players obviously were. Batchelor was great. Bell was just outstanding. He was great. He was great when he was at Lee. Bell, he's a very, very good player.
Mate, Bell this season.
Yeah, you must have gutted to lose Bell.
Yeah, but I think at the time when he went to Saints, we'd just been relegated, I think, from Super League, and I think rebuilding, and then he went to Saints. So I don't think anyone begrudged him going there, but we got a pretty good replacement in Asiata, to be fair. But he's a fantastic player, and it's great to see Tommy Makinson back in there. He's one of my favourite players in Super League, and good to see a couple of cast players in there as well this week, which is
deservedly so.
Yeah. Nathan Massey is,
deservedly so.
Nathan Massey.
Did you? I mean, I haven't got it to hand, but I think what's becoming more and more interesting for me is in the Super League, the official Super League team of the week. A team's got to win for a player to be in that team, and I don't get that.
Yeah.
A team of the week is the best player in their position that week. That's got to be the mantra, surely.
Yeah, absolutely. Because there's so many times when you know yourself, boys, when you've been watching a game and you've looked at the opposition and gone, wow, he's had a, I think straight away it brings Jai Field to Wakefield, straight to mind there when you guys.
Jai Whitbread.
Jai Whitbread.
Yeah.
He's a classic example of that, and there's plenty of other sides who've come to Lee and I've gone, wow, he's been outstanding. And
look at Cameron Smith.
Yeah, exactly.
Outstanding. Outstanding player, Cameron Smith.
We've had him in there, mate, a lot of us this year. We've had him in there a lot. Right, let's get to some predictions. This was last week's round 25 predictions. Nick this off the Game of the Week graphic. Quite a nice one.
Wow.
Yes, there you go. The Fans Forum and Gary Schofield getting the points for the first game. All of us going KR, albeit we didn't get the right scoreline. Well done to Gary Schofield and to you, Greg, for the Casford game. All of us went Catalan. Some did better than. Oh no, actually, none of us got the points. It was an 8-point win. Wigan, all of us went Wigan. Of course, Greg and the fans form going by 18 plus, and only the fans of that last one, the Salford Warrington game. What has that done for the table? Well, here it comes. There it is. Gary Schofield has gone back to the top. Schofield on form this week with 16 points.
2 weeks
Great
left.
effort from him. Great effort from him. Fans Forum as well have closed the gap. A good week for the Forum, 16 for the Forum. Greg, you got 11. I got 6. I had a shocker. But there you go. The Prediction League, as tight as it comes with a few games to go. Wow, absolutely outstanding competition. So let's keep the competition going, shall we, as we get into some more predictions. Here it comes, starting off with this little juicy one on Friday night. Warrington Wolves taking on Saints. Telling Saints 2 from 2 against Warrington this season. Warrington, of course, 48-hour less turnaround for Warrington going into this one. Saints just find a way, is what I would say. Gary Schofield going Saints 9-17. It pains me to say it, but Saints have got consistency. Warrington, I mean, it would not surprise me if Warrington turned them over. It wouldn't. If Warrington click, if they were to click, they would certainly, like they did the last time that Saints come to the Halliwell. Warrington had a fine game. I think it's 24-20. 24-20. I think it was 24-20 last time round.
And we should have won as well.
Yeah, it was a really, really good game. Could have gone either way. Yeah. So if that Warrington turns up, yeah, do you know what? They could surprise Saints. However, yeah, it was 24-20. But no, I'm gonna have to go Saints 9-17. Schofield's going 9-17. The Saints, come on then. Greg, we'll go to you first. What's your thoughts, mate?
Oh, it's a difficult one, isn't it? It really is. Warrington will have been embarrassed by that performance against Salford.
Yeah.
And do you know what? I just get the feeling that Warrington are going to win 9-17. I just.
Oh, that's a big shout from Greg.
Well,
big
you know what?
Shout.
I've got to come up with some big shouts.
Yeah, it's a big shout. That it's a good
And
shout.
I just
I like
think.
it. I hope you're right.
I think the Halliwell Jones will be absolutely boiling on Friday night.
Yeah,
He'll be bouncing. It's the last home game of the season.
Yeah.
Saints have got a couple of players who are not fully fit, and I think I just get the feeling. For once, I'm going to let my heart rule my head, and I'm going to say Warrington 9-17.
Well, before I come to you, Steph, your compadres in the L Fans Forum, you're not on there.
Are laughing at me.
No. Tony Pennington, he's going Saints 9-17, as is Alex Sharp and Dawn Baker. Steve Cartledge, he's going for a shot wire win. John Wilson, Wires 8-12. Kev Warrington by 8. Robert William Higson, Warrington 1-8. Freddie McGilvey's going Saints 1-8. So quite surprising, really. Quite surprising, actually. Quite a balanced one on the chat. Make sure you've voted on the official one. I'll be taking.
Of course, it depends. It depends whether we have Chris Kendall as referee. That could sway it one way or the other.
Well, absolutely. But yeah, very even in the chat. Don't forget, on those of you who are involved in the chat, go onto the Facebook page after. Make sure you've put your prediction in the official ones so they get counted into the Fans Forum predictions for this week. Steph, which way are you going? I'm going Saints. Greg's going Warrington. You get the casting vote. Where are you going?
Okay. Well, I think this could be one of the games of the season. I think you match up very well with St. Helens. I think it's going to be a really close game. This. And I'm a bit gutted actually because I went to the Castleford game with you. You give me the option of coming to this one, and I wish I'd have this one now.
But you can still come. You can still come.
We're playing Wakefield, aren't we, the same night? So that was the only reason I went, so I could have 2 games in one weekend kind of thing. So I think it's going to be a golden point win, this. And I'm going for dancing in the King's Head. It's going to be going off. Warrington win golden point.
Big call. Big call. So there you go. We then move on to this one. Well, this could be quite a quick one, really. We can take on the Castleford Tigers. I think Castleford quite frankly, will be on the beach. Wigan are in form. 18 plus Wigan, me. 18 plus Gary Schofield, Greg.
18 plus Wigan.
Steph.
18 plus Wigan.
Yeah, I think nobody will see that any.
No discussion there. No discussion
No,
there.
there's no need for any discussion there. We're at that point in the season now, aren't we? It's over. It's over for Castleford. And like I say, I think they will pretty much. I mean, yeah, they're either going to be on the beach or they're going to play with abandon and put a little scare on Wigan. We then move on to this one, which again, have Wakey give up? Will Wakey give up? I've gone Lee 18 plus. Gary Schofield's gone Lee 18 plus. Greg,
that's a tough one. This, Lee 18 plus.
Yeah, Steph.
Yeah, I think you'd like to think it's going to be Lee 18 plus. I think this one. They've got. I think losing Fafita as well now. I don't think he's going to be playing this weekend.
No, that was quite emotional actually. He put his boots on the centre circle, didn't he? So
yeah, do you see that?
Yeah,
that was a
really
nice touch.
Yeah, and fair play to the guy. I mean, if ever there was a Wakefield player in the last few years, he's been one of many. So fair play to him. But yeah, with not even with me league goggles on, if we don't beat these by 18 plus, then I think we've got no chance in the playoffs. So
Yeah. Kobe McGilvey says lights out, Lee by 12. Well done, Kobe, lad.
I was going to say, we don't play them on Sunday as well.
It's a game of two halves.
Always. Yeah. But no, I think a lot of love for Lee. Some say not by 18, but pretty much everybody thinks.
God,
that's going to be that one.
Right, we move
on into Saturday. To be said, whilst we've raced through the last two, Texoy, I'll just put that out there. Texoy, I think I said on In the Sheds, I've not been convinced by Texoy this season. I really haven't. I thought he was bang average again last week.
Not lived up to his potential, I think.
Yeah, he's shown glimmers, hasn't he? He's shown glimmers, but his defence has been a bit suspect. From what I've seen in the highlights, he's a bit of a turnstile. When a big guy's running at him, he doesn't seem to want to know. From what I've seen briefly on highlights, but
right. So we come to this then. Bit of a dead rubber. Hull City at home, final game of the season. A couple of players, of course, will be saying cheerio to the fans. One of them, of course, being Chris Satire, as you've just said. That'll be emotional scenes. He's been a great servant for the Black and Whites, and they will rue, I think, him going to
Scott Taylor as well.
Taylor as well, of course, hanging up his boots. So there's going to be a few. Brad Dwyer, we know, is going as well. He's off to Warrington. So has
that been confirmed?
Yeah, he's off to Warrington, mate. So that's pretty much all sorted. I'm going Huddersfield 9-17. I just think they've got more about them. If I'm being honest, I don't know why. I just do. I think Pricey, Connor going up back. Connor's going to turn up for this one because Connor loves to play against his former clubs. I'm just going Huddersfield 9-17. Gary Schofield's gone the other way. He's gone FC 9-17. Steph, where are you going with this one?
I think it might be close. This one. I'm for Joel and Freddie. I'm going to go 1-8 Huddersfield.
Oh, that's a biggie. Lovely. Well, Freddie McGilvey's actually going 1-8 for the Giants. Greg, where are you going, mate?
I'm going 1-8.
2.
Hull.
You're going FC?
Yeah.
1-8.
Last home game. I think it's the last home game of the season. I think 1-8 Hull.
You're in good company. Tony Pennington agrees. Robert William Hickson is also in the camp. Dawn Baker says text 2. Bit harsh.
No, text Hoy.
Text Hoy. Yeah, text 2. Yeah, it's
Hoy.
Hoi, indeed. Anyway, right, okie dokie, should be texting during the show. Hey, there you go. Anyway, we move on.
You all right, Dave?
Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, just a couple in, mate, for your birthday, enjoying myself. I love a Tuesday night. Love a Tuesday night, mate. Right, we now go to Perpignan for this one, there's the man, of course, vying for the top try scorer chart. Credit to Reece Martin. He's had a great season for
he's
Leeds.
been an absolute
I
outstanding player this season. He's been outstanding, Reece Martin.
He's been a good club man this year.
Yeah.
I think he's played a variety of positions. I like Reece Martin.
And he's also got a great quiff.
Alex is getting his, hang on. This just in. Alex is getting his excuses in early. 9 out for Leeds and Walters banned. So youth again, and it's 28 degrees. Catalan by 30 points, and Johnson top try scorer. At the moment, everybody, Ollie Hodge, John Wilkinson, Kev Ogden, they're all going Catalan. I'm going Catalan. I'm going 18 plus. So too is Gary Schofield. Steph, where are you going with this one?
Yeah, you can't see past an 18 plus here for Catalan, based on you get drubbed by 50 at home.
Yeah.
When you go into the south of France, it's like probably the hardest place you could have gone the week after that. And I know Smith will be looking for a reaction. I don't think he can motivate him to a reaction, can he, Smith? So
no.
But then again, they'll probably turn him over. You said that, but no, 18 plus Catalan.
The closest, I'll be honest with you, mate. The closest thing to a reaction he'll get will be Diana Ross on his iPad. I'm telling you, Greg. Over to you, my friend. On you go.
I'm retiring at the end of this season. Do you know what? It would not surprise me if Leeds turn them over because they are not playing well. And I'm going to go.
Catalan 18.
All day.
Catalan 9 to 17.
You're going 9 to 17.
Yeah, because I don't think Catalan are firing
right
on all cylinders.
Fair enough.
And I think Leeds will react, and I think Leeds could quite possibly be winning by quite a few points at half time. But Catalan will win 9 to 17. I don't think it's going to be the blowout that
Alex, Leeds have no players.
Yeah.
Well, I'm off to Catalan in the morning with my boots.
Catalan 30 plus.
Well, right. So that will, of course, mean that the final game has to be the game of the week. Here comes the trailer, boys. Here it comes.
Here we go. For round number 26, it had to be, didn't it? This one has got everything going for it. Of course, Salford will want to maintain the momentum to stay with a chance of the playoffs. As for Hull KR, they win this one, they are assured of playoff rugby league for 2023. It should be an absolute belter, this one at Craven Park. Really looking forward to the double header on Sky this Saturday. Catalan followed by this little beauty. Yeah, I'm going KR. I'm going KR 9 to 17. So too is Gary Schofield. I think KR get themselves a playoff spot guaranteed. Greg? I am going KR 18 plus because Salford had their win last weekend against a very, very poor Warrington team.
Yeah.
They will never come up against such a poor performance in a long, long time as they did last week, Salford. And I don't think Salford are that good. And I think Hull KR are that good. And I think Hull KR are going to absolutely batter them. 18 plus Hull KR.
Super. So You're going a bit higher than me and Mr. Schofield. Steph, what's your thoughts on this
18
one?
plus.
Yeah, no, I agree with Reggie. I think Hull KR are all out to try and get that home playoff game against, off us kind of thing. So I think they'll be well for this. The crowd is going to be phenomenal, I think, for this one. And I think Salford will bring their A game, to be honest with you. I think they'll really want to, because they could still get in the six, couldn't they? So they're going to come out all guns blazing. But
Singleton's banned, isn't he?
Is he?
Singleton's banned.
Most of the Salford players have been banned, haven't they, the last couple of weeks? They've been all in front of the disciplinary. But no, I think it's going to be a really good game. I'm looking forward to watching it on Saturday. But I think we mentioned it earlier on, didn't we? How good Hull KR have been and how good they played at the moment. So I think they will just have a bit too much for Salford, and I think it'll be 9-17 from 60 minutes. They'll just see it off, I think.
Mashing. So there you go. There they all are. They're in. That's the way the cookie is crumbling. Who's to say what the prediction league is going to look like this time next week? We have been treated to a sensational season. It continues. There's a couple of dead rubbers this week. I think there's a couple of games for the first time where you're just thinking Lee, Wigan, the Hull KRFC, which is a nothing game, but the other three I think could be very interesting indeed. I think they're going to be good entertainment, I have to say. Gentlemen, another Tuesday night has come and gone. An hour and 35 minutes later, Greg.
Absolutely flown by, sir.
What better way to spend your birthday, sir?
Mate, and now the family all buggered off.
Fantastic. They know what it's all about, mate. They know what it's all about.
They know which side the better's buds, mate.
The rugby league family was here for you, Reggie.
Oh, that's all that matters to me.
That's it. Well, I mean, and we never stop here at Super League Raw. Should we decide to do it all again next season, I'm already in the process of putting together next year's opening titles that are already looking quite epic. They've already started to happen in anticipation for the 2024 season. So, if people are nice enough and keep joining us and keep becoming members and being subscribers to our YouTube channel, I might decide to do it all over again. Let's wait and see. But anyway, there you go. It's been an outstanding night of rugby league chat and debate. We hope you've all enjoyed it. Outstanding stuff. Dawn saying, grab a beer out of the fridge to Reggie. Are you paying, Dawn? Are you buying around? But yeah, we're all in.
All the very best.
All the very, very best. We'll be back. As always, Steph, thanks very much for joining us this week. We'll be back 8 o'clock next Tuesday. Make sure get to a game if you can and enjoy the feast that's about to happen on Sky Sports. As you know, we do this for the love of our hearts, and we're going to go out with the top performers after 25 rounds. Again, some really interesting ones in here. It's still all to play for. Who's going to finish the top of these charts come the end of the season? Well, there is only 2 more rounds to go before we close this chart, because it'd be unfair to carry it on into the playoffs. But anyway, here we go. Here comes the top performers of Super League for this season thus far. Steph, Greg, go well. We'll see you again. All the best.
Cheers, everyone.
Get to 6,000.
Absolutely.
Yes, let's have it.
Next year. All the best.
You guys.